My Billionaires Games by J.L. Gold. Level 3, Track 5, 1 of 1, Rand Nakfa, CEO of a major corporation. I'd like to open the discussion of Chapter 3 or Level 3 of My Billionaires Games with the big needle drop. In this case, the big needle drop for Chapter 3 is Alone by Armin van Buuren featuring Lauren Evans. Alone was released in pre-Unity year 2013, and I must say, post pre-Unity year 2020, this song definitely hits differently, and it's based upon a true event, a real-life experience, and that experience is portrayed in the music video. So, who in Chapter 3 is feeling alone? In Chapter 3, or Level 3, we return to Track 5. Track 5, if you will recall, is the track that the multimillionaires are on. Track 5 is where we met Levascudo, and so now here we are going to meet another multimillionaire, Rand Nakfa, a CEO for another major corporation. Much like our friend Levascudo in Chapter 1, here in Chapter 3, our new friend Rand Nakfa is busy placing what I imagine to be a very expensive takeout order. Much like our friend Levascudo, Rand is also ignoring his secretary. As you may recall, in Chapter 1, Levascudo and his executives were trying to raise the cost for themselves to do business because they were trying to keep their profits under a certain level, let's say. Now here in this chapter, the issue Rand is having, that he's ignoring, that his secretary is trying to tell him about, is that someone has caused a stratospheric short on his company's stock. In the course of this chapter, we learn that the stratospheric short has been caused by a rival by the name of Manat Tang, who is bankrupting her own capital hedge fund. Here we see, in Chapter 3, or Level 3, a mirroring, or a reinforcement of the ideas first presented in Level 1 when we met Levascudo. Rand's company is also located in Yoseburg Bay. Rand is also wearing a violet CEO's uniform. He's also placing an expensive takeout order. He's also ignoring his secretary. And he's also facing potential billionaire status. The author is using repetition here in this third chapter or level very intentionally to help not only reinforce the ideas that were first introduced in Level 1, but also to expand upon those ideas, because in essence, if we take a eagle eye top view of this chapter, we see very clearly that this is yet another information or exposition dump. For example, Rand's takeout order is exponentially more complicated than Lev's takeout order. Via this ridiculous, complicated order, we learn a little bit more about the world. We learn that there is a club called the Calf Club, and we learn of yet another region, Manda, that is popular with the multimillionaire class. In fact, it is at this ultra-exclusive hotspot that Rand learns about the takeout place when someone at the club tells him about it. You know how it is when the wealthy get together to trade their crypto, to trade their NFTs, to tell each other where to get the forbidden dolphin meat soup. Now, we don't actually know if the food they're ordering is forbidden, but let's take a look at the context clues we have received so far. In Chapter 1, or Level 1, when Levascudo orders his dolphin meat, it's mentioned that the dolphin meat is rare. And now here in Chapter 2, what do we learn about this dolphin meat? Well, we know it comes from a takeout place that's whispered about, that's traded like an NFT or an insider stock tip at an exclusive club popular with the multimillionaire class. I'm willing to bet these takeout orders are very, very expensive. Much like Levascudo in level 1, Rand here in level 3 also ignores his secretary. That is, until he takes the time out of what must be a very busy schedule, I mean, his very busy and important schedule, to harangue his secretary for merely saying the word we. Besides making us like this CEO a little bit less, as if we needed yet another reason to not like a multimillionaire. Incidentally, in the course of this uncalled for lecture to his secretary, we the reader, or players of the big game, learn quite a bit more about this world. The author is taking the opportunity here, in the form of a informational exposition dump, to tell us more about Unity Society. In this uncalled for lecture that Rand gives his secretary, we learn more about UGG homes. Rand refers to them as modular little government boxes. Now, where else have we seen this word, UGH? We saw it back in level 1, when Levascudo was haranguing his executive about his ridiculous colossum or mansion. Here, in level 3, or chapter 3, when Rand unnecessarily blows up at his secretary, we see the acronym UGH, or the term UGG, multiple times. UGG home, UGG rations, UGG secretary? When spoken by Rand in this context, the term UGG sounds like an insult. But is it? In this context, what is being illustrated here is a class divide between the wealthy and those who are not wealthy. In this context, the term UGG, or the acronym UGH, appears to be a designation for those who are not wealthy. While Rand is using the term in a derogatory manner, we the readers, or the players of this game, are realizing or learning that if you aren't wealthy, if you choose to live at, let's say, an UGG level, you appear to be the recipient of housing and of food. Recall from our discussion of level 1 or chapter 1, in Unity Society, people also receive uniforms or may be provided uniforms based on their role or job, perhaps, in this society. While it's not directly stated in level 1 or here in level 3, those who have been to the website will know that these uniforms are provided by the Unity government. So in essence, if you live at the UGG level, you are the recipient of housing, food, and clothing. Recall from level 2 or chapter 2 that citizens of the Unity government of Pangaea are not required to stay in a job role or position they may find unsuitable. However, the implication is perhaps not explicit in chapter 2, but on the website, it's quite explicit that in exchange for these UGG or UGH benefits, the Unity government of Pangaea asks that citizens be occupied by either a job or a hobby. There is a great deal of information in this one little paragraph, or not so little paragraph. On top of all of that, we also have another mention of Vermette Arena and a very explicit description of what is on Rand's mind, which is having to fight a battle to the finish in that arena. Hopefully, by this third mention here on level 3 about what goes down in Vermette Arena if and when someone achieves billionaire status is beginning to sink in and fix in your mind. Even if you haven't been to the website, now you know. Vermette Arena is not where these multimillionaires want to go. And this is why, in level 1, chapter 1, we saw Levascudo and his executives trying to make money, yes, but not too much money. And here, in level 3, chapter 3, we see Rand reacting very negatively to the fact that a rival has instigated a short run on his company's stock. In one fell swoop, his rival has 1. Managed to bankrupt themselves, their own capital hedge fund, which will prevent them from obtaining billionaire status and thereby keep them from being automatically arrested and sent to the arena, and 2. Sent Rand's company's stock soaring, ensuring that Rand and his fellow executives and board members and major stockholders at his company will likely, if he cannot figure out a way out of this short to lower his stock valuation, they are all going to achieve billionaire status and wind up in the dreaded Vermette Arena. Now we, the readers, or players of this game, see there is definitely more than one way to become a billionaire in Unity Society. In Level 1, Lev's situation illustrates how one may become a billionaire via, let's say, legitimate means. Whereas here in Level 3, we're seeing another way to become a billionaire. Perhaps, maybe still legitimate, maybe not even extra legal. However, this is something that is somewhat beyond Rand's control because the short run on his stock has been instigated by a rival, we can assume, with some malice. Or, to be fair, Manette Tang could simply be doing this to save her own skin. Rand and his company could simply be collateral damage. What is being hinted at here is something that is made much more explicit on the website, and that is that these individuals or other individuals may, in the course of these games, outside of the arena, air quotes, battle one another or fight to either cause someone else to become a billionaire, to prevent themselves from becoming a billionaire, and so on. And what we have here in Level 3 is one example. To conclude this discussion of Level 3, Chapter 3, let's take another look at the big needle drop, the song Alone by Armin van Buuren, featuring Lauren Evans. Here we are, having gone through this chapter, and now Rand is staring out of his expansive chief executive office windows that overlook the other long end of Yoseberg Bay. His arms are crossed in front of him, in front of his violet CEO's uniform, but he is not seeing the stunning and panoramic views of Yoseberg Bay. Oh no, he is preoccupied. He's thinking about that clever girl and what she's done to him. In this moment, Rand Nakfa is feeling very alone. This concludes our discussion of Level 3 or Chapter 3. I'd like to thank you again for your time. Thank you so much for listening. Please consider giving this video a like or a follow or subscribe. And as a reminder, the primary chapters are or will be available via Reddit, and then the Apocrypha is only available in the book form simply because spoilers. But again, thank you so much. In the name of fairness, please be well.